Hi friends, Lorrie here. Welcome to my world. I'm here on Vancouver Island and I am back in the kitchen again, and I am giving you an update on how my journey into liking squash is going. This is for the Survival Seeds 2024 collaboration. One of the seeds that was chosen as a seed to grow for this collaboration was a butternut squash. And I don't like butternut squash. I don't like squash. I mean, I'm okay with summer squash, zucchini bread, stuff like that. I don't mind that. But winter squash, and I don't know, it's got a taste that I just don't care for. Anyway, so I've set myself the goal this year of finding a way to eat squash that I actually think tastes good. So, to start that off, if you haven't watched my first video in this series, you should go back and watch that because it explains more of this, it explains more of the collaboration. The collaboration is fantastic. If you have not heard of Survival Seeds 2024, so here is my squash out of the freeze dryer, and it's quite crunchy, and in it goes into the food processor, and we're gonna try and turn it into a flour. Now, I don't even want to taste it. Just smelling it is bad enough.
That face again.
It still smells like squash. But anyway, I'm gonna keep going, and I'm gonna turn it into flour, and yeah, let's do that. Well, it's kind of gritty, and it still, of course, smells like squash. I'm wondering if I should put it through my flour sifter and see if that makes it a little bit more fine. Let's do that, and then I will measure it and see how much squash we ended up with. Look for hashtag Survival Seeds 2024, all one word. You'll get the best results, and you'll be able to see all of the videos that are associated with this collaboration, and you'll love them. You'll love them all. But anyway, let's get to my squash update. So from the first video, you know that I cooked the squash, I baked it, and then I freeze dried it. And I have made flour from it. And this is how much flour I got from one squash. So it's about, I'd say a little more than a cup. And I'm not going to use it all at once either because I don't dare. Are you laughing at me?
When the steak's going to be ready?
Yeah, it's 4th of July.
Huh?
We're not having steaks.
Oh. What? Well, I thought they were steaks by now.
No, and they're not going to be steaks. You know what I've decided to try?
Oh, God. Here we go. Experiment. Experiment. Experiment number whatever. We're way up there now.
4,800.
Way beyond that.
Way beyond that.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I'm thinking that it needs to be something...
That's another one. I've been thinking. God.
I've been
I'm having a heart attack.
You're not having a heart attack. You're just so melodramatic.
Oh, God, no, not another experiment.
Poor thing.
What?
Well, so I was thinking...
That's the bad sign right there. Go ahead.
That I need something that's going to have a fairly strong flavor to hide the flavor of the squash, right?
You try like tequila or something?
No, that is an idea. No, I don't like tequila.
Oh, there's whiskey.
There is whiskey. I couldn't imagine, though.
It wouldn't taste like squash.
It would still be disgusting. But anyway, so I'm thinking ginger snaps.
What?
Ginger snaps. You know, the cookies?
What, now you're going to go buy cookies and grind them up and put them in your...
No. I'm going to make ginger snaps.
Out of squash?
Out of squash. Well, it's not going to be just out of squash. Where are you going? Where are you going?
Sharon, I really hate to say this, but...
This house is so much fun.
They're all your fault.
Why?
You raised her.
No, I didn't.
No, she
Can't pass the buck.
didn't. No, she didn't. I raised myself.
Well, it's still your mom's fault.
I gave birth to her.
There you go.
What, you don't think that's a good idea?
You just make 2 or something. Don't be making a batch of them because the first thing's
Well, I
gonna
am
happen-
going to make a batch of them.
Get the garbage ready.
Well,
You know how all these experiments go.
it's not just going to be the squash flour. I'm going to put other flour in there too. Like mostly other flour. It calls...
What's the point?
The point is to be able to use the squash in some way that
Don't-
could help me survive.
Don't buy it.
I don't buy it. Because I don't like it. People recommended that I try it with brown sugar. Roast it with brown sugar.
You've tried it with brown sugar.
I know.
You know the same face. Ah.
So
We've tried all kinds of squash with brown sugar and butter and whatever else we've tried, and it still tastes like squash.
it always ends up tasting like squash.
It's like, I wish you'd screw up somehow and make it taste like, a sirloin or chop.
Well, I'm hoping that the ginger snaps
Oh, that's really close.
will help. Because they have a...
You didn't take chemistry, did you?
No,
Yeah, it shows.
I dropped out of high school.
You paid for her further education.
Oh, yeah. And look what I got. I'm gonna have ginger snaps out of squash. How does that work?
Well, we're gonna find out, aren't we?
You better get on Costco order. We need more garbage bags. We're running low.
Are we really?
Yes.
Which size? Big ones?
The big ones, the medium ones, and the small ones. Oh no. Yeah, I'll have to check.
Okay.
Can't you wait until we get our garbage supplies in?
Figure it out.
No. I need to use my flour today. I'm making them today, and you are going to taste them.
Why don't you taste them?
I will
She's
taste them.
scared to. She's gonna take her cookie and go like this.
Yeah.
Well, I love ginger snaps.
But they taste like squash.
No, they taste like ginger. I think the ginger will drown the squash.
Should make sure.
Well, if that's the case, why don't you do it with chocolate?
Oh, gross.
What?
Ugh, I don't think chocolate would mask the flavor of squash. No.
Chocolate chip squash.
Chocolate chip squash. I could make chocolate chip squash cookies with some of the flour.
What do you think? I mean, hell, the garbage comes every Thursday. It's okay.
We can give it to the garbage.
That's why they don't stop anymore. No. Here, this is my wife's experiment. And thanks, Dave. We don't need that.
You're just mean, both of you. Both
after
of you.
like 3,000, 3,600 experiments, and we got 3,600 garbage bags we threw away.
That's how
What
we
does that
divide
tell
our
ya?
Garbage bags.
Huh?
Tells me that nobody ever taught me how to cook.
It, nobody said you didn't know how to cook. It's just your combinations that kind of.
Well, I have to try for the vineyard chicks.
For
It
them.
don't make any difference. If you don't like it, we don't get it.
They don't get it either.
What do you mean?
Vineyard chicks don't get any of her stuff she cooks.
What? Can we ship it to them?
I don't know if you can get it across the border.
No, they probably quarantine it or something. Look at that look.
I'm
That
gonna-
looks like the.
I'm
looks
gonna
like
quarantine you two.
Looks like the squash look.
I'm going back to work now. Leave me alone. So my thoughts are that squash has a distinct and rather strong flavor. So I need something to disguise that. And when I was thinking about things that might help to disguise the taste of squash, I kept coming back to ginger. And so I've decided to make ginger snaps. So there's the recipe. It's from my Betty Crocker cookbook. And it calls for 2 1/4 cups of flour. So to start off with, for the first batch, I'm only going to use 1/4 cup of my squash flour. And we'll see how they turn out. Maybe the next batch I'll use a little more. Let's come back with a taste test. Well, they look delicious and they smell delicious, but the true test will be in the taste. Oh, they're ginger snaps.
They're not with your squash.
Yes,
Oh God.
it is with my squash. I didn't use very much though, just a little bit.
Who eats ginger snaps anyway?
I love ginger snaps.
Really?
Yes. They're probably hot. I just took them out of the oven.
They are hot.
Can you taste squash?
No.
No?
There.
Okay, that might be a good sign. Mmm. I don't taste any squash at all.
We finally broke through. It's a scientific discovery.
It's a scientific miracle,
Make
honey.
Squash tastes like ginger snap.
These are really good. So the next time I do this recipe, I will use 1/2 cup
Of what?
of my butternut squash flour. And we'll see if they're still just as good as they are with, I actually used 1/3 cup, but yeah. We have succeeded.
Kind of got a chocolatey taste to it
A
too.
little bit. They're really, really good. Absolutely.
This is made out of your
It has squash flour in it.
Really? I don't taste squash.
I didn't taste any squash either. I didn't use very much. Out of 2 1/4 cups of flour, I used 1/3 cup of my squash flour.
You could probably put more in.
I could probably put a little more in, like maybe 1/2 cup.
Speaking of cups, would you please get me a cup out of the cupboard so I could have my tea?
Certainly. My tea?
Your tea that you made for me specially.
Uh-huh. And now she drinks it every single day.
I do drink it every single day.
And there you have it. First time out experimenting like that with the squash. Not that it's the first time I've ever experimented with squash, because as you heard Dave say, we have tried squash all kinds of different ways because I have been determined to see why people like it. And I still don't know. The only thing I like about these cookies is that they don't taste like squash, but they do have squash in them. So I call that a success. And I guess that's it for today. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out with me. If you haven't yet, check out Survival Seeds 2024. I will put a link down in the description. I'll also put links to the people who are hosting it. The Vineyard Chicks, Lazy Days Ahead with Jesse and Lisa, and Bushcraft Family are the hosts of this fantastic collaboration. To everybody who's taking part of it, thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to everybody who's watched this far in my video. If you have watched this far in my video, make a comment with the words Seeds 2025, and I'm going to enter you into a draw for my first giveaway come this fall for all the seeds that I'm going to be giving away this fall for people starting their 2025 garden. So put in your comment Seeds 2025, and you'll be entered for a chance to win on my live on, I believe it's scheduled for September 18th, but you can check my upcoming lives and it'll be listed there, and you can, I hope, come and hang out with me. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I do appreciate every single minute that you come and hang out with me, and I love to see you. Take good care of yourself. Bye now.